Okay, so I was just about to explain my international experience and just give you a little bit of background as to what I've done overseas, and you know the information and the detail of the information that I can give you, or at least I hope I can pass on to you to make your overseas experience a lot more a lot easier. So in 2014, in fact, for the last 2 years, most of my competitions have been overseas. In 2014, I had 3 weeks in the US and Canada competing in the INBA World Cup, the UFE World Championships, and the WMBF World Championships. Now, spending 3 weeks overseas and trying to maintain competition condition, particularly for the figure category, is very, very hard. And I did incredibly well. I won all 10 of my divisions, 2 overalls, and I won my pro cards in six categories, so both figure and physique with those 3 divisions. And I managed to maintain my condition all the way through. Now, last year I did 3 overseas competitions as well, but I did it slightly differently. So I had a 3-month competition season where I did 4 shows in 4 weeks. So I did a show in Bendigo, which I won. I flew to Texas for the professional PMBA Miss Universe Physique, which I won. I flew back. 4 days later, I backed up and won the NABA Bendigo. And then I backed up the following week in New York and won the WNBF Pro Miss Universe. And then in October, that was all in September. Then in November, I went to Las Vegas for Natural Olympia. Now, in amongst all of that, I think I've done about, for just those 6 competitions, I think it's involved something like 21 flights. The first year it was much easier because it was all internal with the US and Canada. Last year, however, every single trip went wrong. I don't know what it was, but something went wrong on every single trip. So on the Texas trip, I was delayed coming back, which meant I only had 4 days to back up for the Bendigo NABA show. And then after the Bendigo NABA show, I set off for New York, and it took me 55 hours of cancellations and delays before I hit New York. And it was so stressful, and I was so exhausted, I was just in tears by the time I got there, and I only had 48 hours to turn it around for that professional Miss Universe competition, which fortunately I did, and I won. And then again with the Las Vegas competition, coming back, my flights were all delayed, and that only left me 7 days to back up and regain my competition for the IFBB Universe, Amateur Olympia in Queensland. So I think I've pretty much experienced the best and the worst of what you can when you're traveling overseas. Okay, so let's kick off with food. In fact, just out of curiosity, what would be your number one sort of concerns with flying?
So for me, Sarah, I'm curious to understand how you managed your water intake, and also how did you approach the nutrition side whilst you're on the plane for that long? So leading up to the plane flight, on the plane flight, and then sort of your experience post the plane flight.
Okay, lovely. Now, going to the States, actually, I found, yeah, it's actually not too bad. I made a point of cooking up. You've got a 14-hour leg from Melbourne to Los Angeles, and then internally, however you've got. Now, what I found is that as long as I packed a day's worth of food into my checked-in luggage, and as long as I declared it with customs, then it was up to them whether they confiscated it or not. And what I found is basically what I did is I stuck to my plan, which is pretty much meat, fresh vegetables, and some sort of carbs. Now, what I tend to do on my comp prep is I I generally cook up a big soup, a green soup, which has got all my vegetables in it. It's highly nutritious. And then what I do is I freeze it. Okay, so for my flights to the States, I would take 4 meals worth of frozen soup, and I would take 4 meals worth of frozen chicken, and I would put that in my checked-in luggage and declare it, and it always came through. Now, in my hand luggage for the flight, what I did for the flight, and this is pretty much a general recommendation, is that you drink 300 mils of water per hour on the flight. You've got to make sure you stay hydrated, okay? So if you've got a 14-hour flight, you're going to need to drink sort of between about 5 or 6 litres of water. Now, all the flights now, you can get water on the plane, so you don't have to worry about taking that with you. So make sure you get an aisle seat, because you'll probably be up and down every peeing. If you're like me, you will anyway. And literally every time I went to the toilet, I'd grab a cup of water on the way back, or I'd grab a cup of water to scull it, and then I'd take a cup of water back to my seat. Okay, so I didn't worry about taking water onto the plane, because you have the water on the plane, and that's fine. Now, I actually ate the plane food. I didn't worry about the plane food. I generally took for the Los Angeles leg, the 14-hour flights. I took 3 fresh chicken salads, because I knew I was going to get 2 hot meals and a snack. Now in 14 hours, that's 6 meals. So I didn't worry about what my macros were or my calories or anything like that, because I always make sure I've got enough time on the ground to pull back my condition. So I didn't worry so much about the food on the plane. Now, when you hit the other side, as long as you don't have any fresh food, you should be okay. Now, I found that if I did have any chicken salad left, I actually had the salad and the chicken in separate pots, and I'd find that they'd confiscate the vegetable part of it, but I'd be okay with the chicken. So it seems to be that cooked meat is okay, but fresh vegetables and fruit are not okay. And again, I declared it. I made sure I declared everything, and then I left it up to them. If they confiscated it, that's fine, because I knew I had 4 or 5 meals in my checked-in luggage. Okay, so then the reason I take like a whole day's worth of meals in my checked luggage is because I didn't know what the time was when I was going to get to the other side. So if it was late at night, I didn't want to have the stress of having to rush around in the morning with no food, trying to find a supermarket, you know, trying to get your bearings and all of that stuff. I wanted to be able to have a good night's sleep, knowing that I had something to eat before I then set off to do all of that, you know, all of the searching and the finding of the supermarkets and kind of stuff. Now, the way to time flights is I find that flying north to south doesn't affect your condition quite so much. Some people handle flights really well. Some people go a bit puffy. I go a bit puffy on flying. But staying
that habit is gone on both sides. That means it will be so much.
Oh, hello, Rosanna.
What causes that?
I'm just going to, somebody's just joined on their iPad. So yes, as I was saying, so I take the meal, a day's worth of meals in my checked-in luggage so that I don't have the stress when I get there. Now, a general rule of thumb is when you're trying to pull back your condition, if you're flying east to west, which you would be when you're flying to the States or to the Philippines, and certainly, you know, definitely to Florida, or if you're going to Europe, you're still going east to west. The general rule of thumb is it takes between 2 to 4 hours. You need 2 to 4 hours on the ground for every hour you are in the air.
What's that?
Sorry, can you say that again, please, Sarah?
So flying will affect your condition. That's okay. And most people sort of generally, you have to, when you compete internationally, you have to, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? You have to count on the fact that you are not going to be in your top condition. You'll probably be between 10 to 20% off your best condition, okay? That's just because what flying does to you. The way you can mitigate that is by allowing enough time on the ground to recover. And when you're on the ground, as soon as you hit the ground and you're in your accommodation, you need to get right back into whatever your peak routine is. So you find the gym, you find the supermarket, you make sure you've got your food and stuff set up for the rest of the week. That's the first thing you do. And then you get right back into your routine as quickly as you can, because that will just help your body adjust quickly.
What would you be doing in the gym, and what would you be doing in the gym, and what exactly is it that affects your condition?
It's the flying that affects your condition. You'll retain water, okay? And you might just swell up. But things that will help your condition will be staying as hydrated as possible on the flight. And like I say, that's where the 300 mils per hour comes in. Make sure you stay very, very hydrated on the flight.
Would you keep the salt the same?
Sorry?
Would you keep the salt the same?
I don't do any manipulations with salt, potassium, carbs, nothing on peak week. Okay, so what you like I say, you've got to keep it as close to your routine as possible. So if you cut salt, then you are going to have to take all of your own meals, because that's the only way you can guarantee you've got the same salt intake that you would normally have. If you don't worry about any of those kind of manipulations, then you can get away with probably eating the plain food. Okay, but if you're really, really worried about it, make sure that you take enough food to last for the whole duration of your flights. And like I say, as long as it's not, if it's in a tin or a sachet, if it's unopened, you should be okay. It's the fresh fruit and vegetables or fresh food that will not get through. Okay, now once you hit the other side, like I say, you need to when you're booking your flights, you need to allow between 2 to 4 hours on the ground for every hour you are in the air to recover your condition. And then I always allow a bonus 12 hours as well, just in case something goes wrong. If your flight is delayed, that's going to eat into your recovery time. So I do what I calculate. I actually allow a little bit extra, so I allow half a day on the ground, pretty much, for every hour I'm in the air, plus an extra 12 hours. So if I've got a show on a Saturday in the States, I'll fly out a whole week before, pretty much, just to make sure that I can really get back into my own routine and make sure that I can pull my condition back. And then if something does go wrong with the flights, I've got that buffer zone. Okay? Does that help, Coral?
Yeah, so you're basically saying half a day on the ground for every hour you're in the air to help assist with recovery and routine.
Yeah. Now this is the figure. What category are you?
So I'm figure.
You are figure. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So because you're going all the way to Florida, are you going all the way through to Florida in one go, or are you saying stopping a couple of days in Los Angeles and then flying?
No, so I'm going straight from Melbourne to Orlando, and I think there's just a very short 2-hour stopover along the way.
Right, okay. Have you booked your flights?
Yes, I have.
Okay, and how much time are you allowing on the ground then?
So we're flying out of Melbourne on a Wednesday to arrive in Orlando on a Wednesday for comp on a Saturday.
Yeah, okay. That should be fine. Like I say, what time do you arrive in Orlando?
Oh, it's kind of mid-morning.
Okay, that's a really good time to arrive because it kind of gets you a bonus day.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. So on that day that you arrive, I would just go get to your accommodation, get settled. And then the first thing to do, find a gym, find your local supermarket and suss out where you're going to get your food.
Yep.
Okay. Then, you know, get whatever food you can. And Whole Foods Market actually is probably one of the best food shops in the States.
Mm-hmm.
They do some really good fresh food. They do a lot of really good organic produce. They've got some really good salad buffet bars, which are actually quite clean and very comp friendly.
Okay, great.
So look for a Whole Foods Market. Okay. Now, have you booked up your hair, tanning and makeup?
I have, yes. Yep.
Okay.
So how I went about that was I just sort of did some searching on some bodybuilding sites, looked for somebody who specialised in comp tanning and makeup and hair.
Yep.
And just sort of went from there.
Yeah.
I see now though that the Federation has actually organised for some people on site to do it, but I sort of had already had that booked.
Yeah. There's a really great website called Thumbtack.
Okay.
And I found this last year, and I got a hair and makeup artist in New York for $60 as opposed to the $300 the Federation was going to charge me.
Gee, that's fantastic.
Yes.
So that was the hair and makeup, Sarah.
Yes, it was hair and makeup.
And what did you do with your tanning?
I did use, with tanning, I generally go with the recommended people suppliers of the Federation, just because it's easy.
Okay. Yeah, no worries.
You know, when you're overseas, you want to minimize stress as much as possible. So it was, like I say, it's unfortunate I only found Thumbtack last year, but generally I generally do use the hair and makeup suppliers, and I generally do use the tanners, just because it's easy.
Okay. Fair
now,
enough.
the host hotel, they often insist you stay in the host hotel. I do stay in the host hotel for the night before the competition and the competition night. But if I'm there for a couple of days before, Airbnb.
Okay.
It'll save you, you know, again, host hotels tend to come in on the pricey side. I used Airbnb in New York, and I got a fabulous apartment about 100 meters away from the World Trade Center for $90 a night, I think it was, and the host hotel was $360 a night.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So I used Airbnb, and I think Airbnb's actually, I would recommend Airbnb anywhere that you compete in the world, but I would recommend that you go to the host hotel for the competition. Again, overseas they tend to do a split format of show, which we don't do so often in Australia. And the WFF, you're doing WFF, aren't you?
That's correct, yep.
I haven't done WFF overseas, but because it's the international one, they'll have a single format show. Some federations overseas have a split format show, so they do the pre-judging in the morning, and then they have a finals show at night. And that's where it's really useful to stay in the host hotel, because you've got a bit of a bolt hold, somewhere you can just go and chill out in between the rounds.
Yep.
Okay, but to cut costs, I use Airbnb beforehand. And like I say, Thumbtack is a great resource. You literally just post up what you need, and people bid for your job.
Okay, all right.
Okay, and these are all qualified people. So I got a photo shoot in New York as well, and it cost me $300, I think, whereas I had quotes for like over $1,000.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So that's a great resource in the States. You can save a bit of money there. Whole Foods Market, like I say, is the best food shop. So when you hit, okay, just to recap, when you hit the ground, find your gym, find your supermarket. Get back into your routine as quickly as possible with the kind of foods that you would eat. And this is where it helps knowing your peak week your peak routine really well. Okay. If you're not quite sure of it, talk to your coach and get them to write down your whole peak week before you go, so that you can literally get there and you can just slot into what you need to do.
Yes,
Okay.
The version.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, Wasana, I've got you back 3 times. Oh, that's funny. So, Ruby, did you have any particular questions?
Mine was more so how you get to manipulate your condition when you feel you're sort of slipping out.
Sorry, you just dropped out then.
Like when you're slipping in and out of your condition, how can you tell whether it's like water weight or salt or what's going on?
Well, look, if you've stuck to your diet all the way through, it certainly is not going to be fat. You're not going to put on fat on an international flight. It will purely be how your body reacts to the flight. So that's why I say you get back into your routine as soon as possible, so that because by the time you get to peak week, your body will be used to it anyway. You know, it'll be used to the foods that you're having. It'll be used to the routine that you're in. What upsets, what ruins your condition is A, the flight, and B, the time zone. So by at least getting your training and your food and your water, or back onto your schedule as much as normal, your body will just adjust quicker.
I went to Vegas last year and I was in comp prep, not competing.
Yeah.
But I found I lost my appetite and my sleep cycle was totally whacked. Like I found that I didn't eat for ages, and then all of a sudden I slept for ages, and then as soon as I woke up, I still wasn't hungry, and then I wasn't sleeping.
That's the thing. Even if you're not hungry, if it's the time that you would normally eat. The quicker you get into a routine, the quicker your body will adjust. Okay. So I know it'll all be over the place, and it might be 3 o'clock in the morning at home, which is not when you'd normally be eating. You eat, because it's getting back into that routine that will help your body adjust.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to Vegas again, and I think I'll be 10 weeks out from my comp. But last year when I went, because my eating was so screwed up, I ended up dropping so much muscle mass.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, like I say, that's the key to it. Getting back into the routine, making sure that you are doing what you would normally do. See, this is when you're on comp prep and you're in competition condition, your body's just in a much more vulnerable state. And flying is probably one of the most extreme things you can do when you're in competition condition. And of course, your body's going to, because you've done something extreme, your body's going to react, that bit more extremely than otherwise it might. Like if you just drive to a competition a couple of hours away, it's not going to affect you. If you fly interstate for a couple of hours, it's not really going to affect you that much. Flying overseas for 10, 15, 20 hours, that's a whole different kettle of fish. And yes, because it's an extreme situation, your body is going to react more extremely. So that's why as soon as you can get back into your normal routine, even though the time's all out of whack, it will help you adjust.
So even if you're not hungry, your digestive system will still be fine and working.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
Because I was scared of eating because I wasn't hungry. It's like if I eat, is my digestion system even working? Sort of thing.
But by eating, you're actually going to stimulate your digestive system.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, does that make sense? Because it's got to do something. It's got food. You've got food in you. It's got to do something.
Yeah.
So having that food in you will stimulate your digestive system, and then it'll ping right back into it, because then it'll go, well, I've just had something. Right now, I need more. Feed me again.
That's you, sir.
If it's like my digestive system, it's like, well, feed me more. Okay. So does that answer your question, Ruby?
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. Now, Usana, hello. Can you hear me, Usana?
I don't think she can.
She can't. Okay. She's not on mute.
Hi, Sarah.
Hello.
It's Linda here. I'm
Hi.
anonymous iPhone. I think Wasana might have it muted like I do. So she can probably hear you, but you can't hear her.
No, actually, everybody's showing as unmuted, so that's right. So Linda,
I've got kids in the background, so I didn't want to annoy everyone, so I'm just keep muting mine.
Okay. So Linda, do you have any particular questions?
Yeah, I do actually. A bit of a random one. We're flying out in the middle of the night, like literally at midnight.
Right.
And I was thinking, normally I knock myself out with wine on an aeroplane, but clearly that's not appropriate.
Go the Valium.
Sorry?
Go the Valium.
Valium? Yeah, Dan said to check with you because I suggested temazepam and he said, just ask Sarah.
Well, actually, that's a very interesting question, because I never use anything on flights. I'm the worst sleeper on planes at the best of times, and particularly at comp prep. But if you do use something to knock yourself out and it doesn't affect you on the other side, then why not use? If you've got something that will help you sleep. What time do you arrive in the Philippines?
Around midday on the Thursday. Well, it'll be midday there.
Midday there. So how long is the flight?
I'm not sure. I think maybe 13 hours.
Okay. Well, in which case, it might be a good idea to take something that will help you sleep, because your body would you'd normally be asleep at midnight anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you can get a good 8 hours sleep on part of the flight, then you'll wake up in a much closer state to your normal state anyway. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
if you
definitely.
get sleep, then your body will think it's 8 o'clock in the morning. So then you'll arrive at midday. Make sure you stay up all that day for as long as you possibly can, and then you'll pretty much be in your normal, I guess, hours, I suppose. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Sorry, I couldn't find the unmute button.
I was like, hello, she's gone. Yeah. So yeah, if you're arriving on Thursday, what day is the show? It's on a Sunday, isn't it?
It's on the Saturday, actually, so it's a very quick turnaround.
Right, okay. So, okay. No,
sorry.
No, you should be fine, because even though it's a 13-hour flight, it's kind of more north-south, and because you're flying at midnight and you arrive midday, I think that should actually be quite a good time to arrive. But like I say, it'll be crucial that you get that sleep in on the first part of the flight. Yeah,
and I was hoping to get some sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, it should be easy flying out at midnight. We should be exhausted.
Yeah, that's right. Well, here's the kind of thing. Sometimes when you're overly tired, you actually don't sleep.
Yeah.
So I think it would, if you've taken anything to help you sleep before and you know that your body doesn't react to it, then I would definitely take something.
Yeah, I might do a practice run one night this week and just make sure, because I haven't taken anything
Yeah,
since I've been lean. And, you know, things tend to react a bit differently when you're quite lean.
that's right. That's actually a great idea.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. And probably do it on the same kind of night, and then pay attention what your body does for the next couple of days. So tomorrow midnight or whatever, you know, tomorrow night, take it and notice how you come up on Friday.
Yeah. All right, I'll do that. I might do it on Friday because Friday will be my accelerator day, which will be the same day, same as when I'm flying. So then it'll be the same sort of food intake and I'll be able to tell.
Perfect.
Awesome. Thanks for that.
That's a really good idea.
Cool.
Okay. Now,
So do you have to declare protein and other capsules or tablets that you take?
supplements. Great question, Kerry. I don't take my supplements with me. I get them over there. Just because a lot of the supplements tend to be sort of nondescript capsules or powders. I'm never quite sure how they might react to them. So I don't take my supplements with me.
Okay.
So, yeah, I just go without. Although actually, having said that, I have taken fish oil.
Yeah.
I've taken fish oil. But
I'm told that if you leave, I'm told that if you leave them in an, don't unseal them, just get a new tub of, say, fish oil and just leave them all sealed. I'm told that might get through.
Yes, unopened. I mean, again, it's kind of the same thing as food. If you've got like, you can take those tuna sachets of tuna. Safcol do these sachets of tuna. You can take those. They're really good because they're unopened. So yes, if your supplements are in a brand new pot that are unopened, you should be okay.
Yeah.
But like I say, I can't guarantee that because I just don't. You just don't know who you're dealing with at the other end. So I've just never risked it. I have taken fish, that's it. I certainly haven't taken anything in powder form.
Okay, yeah. You might get over there, but you mightn't get back home.
I got it back.
Oh, I've got things back. Yeah.
No, I mean yourself, your body. They might keep you over there.
Yeah, that's right. I just haven't risked taking it in, but I've certainly brought stuff back. I'm not sure that's an indictment on Australian customs. But yeah, no, that's a really great question, Kerry. Because were any of you thinking of taking your supplements with you?
So Sarah, I was kind of thinking that I would take enough for the actual flight, but then do as you said and sort of just source supplements then when I hit the ground.
Yeah, and again, I think if you've got it on the flight, and as long as you've finished it before you land, then you won't have a problem. It's just that, like I say, you can't guarantee, and I don't know what the rules are. You know, certainly going to the Philippines, I wouldn't risk it. The States is probably better. You know, at least you can say to them, I'm a bodybuilder, this is what I'm taking, and they're more likely to understand and let it through. But it's, you know, just to be on the safe side, if you are going to take something, make sure you've finished it before you land. Yep. Now, Ruby, you wanted to go through show formats and categories, didn't you?
Yeah.
Did you have a particular show in mind?
I've never actually seen fitness posing before. Obviously, I'm figure, but I mean, like, I've never actually seen the difference between a fitness model, a bikini model, and figure altogether.
Look, that really depends on the federation, but as a general rule, the posing for bikini and fitness is the same. Certainly is for the INBA overseas, and it certainly is for the UFE and for WNBF too. So those are the 3 overseas federations I've done, and the fitness and bikini posing is the same. Okay, now figure's a different matter. Often in the States, certainly with the INBA and the WNBF in the States, the figure only does the symmetry. It's a bit more like IFBB. It only does symmetry, and you have a T-walk. Okay. Certainly in the States, if you want to do the mandatory poses for figure, you need to enter the physique category. Okay, they call it physique over there. And in Canada as well, the physique category is the one that does the mandatory poses with the biceps and all the rest of it. And in the UFE as well, for physique category, the routine is mandatory.
Yeah.
Okay. WNBF, they call it fit body. That's where you have the symmetry, the mandatory, and the posing routine. The INBA, even overseas in the physique category, they've made the posing routine optional now. It used to be mandatory, it's optional now. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm IFBB.
Sorry?
I'm IFBB here at the moment.
Yeah.
But if I do anything else, it would be WFF. If you remember me mentioning that before.
Yeah, and look, the WFF figure does have the mandatory poses.
And the routine, don't they have?
Yes. Yeah. So
I think you might want to check that though for international comps, because in some particular countries for WFF the routine is not mandatory.
Yeah. Look, now I think that they're trying to standardise these now, because I did the WFF Karma Classic, which was WFF International, and the routine was mandatory.
Yeah, sorry, what I meant was not international rules, which obviously the Karma Classic was governed by.
Yeah.
I mean, when you compete overseas in WFF, that standard is not the same across all the participating countries. So depending on which country you're participating in, you might just want to check out their individual rules.
Yeah, no, look, the WFF international website is fairly horrible, actually, and it really is a bit light on that kind of information, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if whichever show you're doing, you need to talk to the people directly. So what category is it that you're doing, Coral?
So I'm doing figure.
You are doing figure, yes. And is the posing routine mandatory then?
For myself, yes.
Yeah.
It's capped at 60 seconds.
Yeah.
But it is mandatory.
Yeah. Yeah, 60 seconds is a pretty good general length. NABA overseas, you're allowed up to 90 seconds. And actually NABA overseas, the figure routine is still mandatory. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But for the WFF in Orlando, if the posing routine's optional, then that's nice and easy.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Now, so I'm just going to do a quick recap here. So we've dealt with time zones and how it affects your conditioning. We've dealt with food that you can and can't take on the plane. We've dealt with supplements, how to manage your diet during the flight and when you arrive. Hair, makeup and tanning, generally recommend you use the suggested people just because it's easy. And when you're overseas, you want as little stress as possible. Competing overseas is a very different kettle of fish to competing in Australia because you're away from your usual support mechanisms. You have to rely much more on yourself, and that just adds a level of stress that you wouldn't have here. Okay, so make it as easy on yourself as possible. Do as much research on where you're going up front. So before you go, do some Googling, find out where the supermarkets are in relation to your hotel, find out where the gyms are in relation to your hotel, find out if the gyms even have introductory specials. There's often you can often go to somewhere for a couple of days and you can get free gym because they might have a 3-day introductory special. The whole time I was in Canada, in Toronto, we were with Good Life Fitness or something like that. They were all over Toronto, and they just happened to have a 7-day special. So the whole Australian team got a free gym for the 7 days we were there, which was awesome. So check out things like that. Do your research before you go. Make life as easy on yourself as possible so that when you get there, you minimize stress, okay? Does that answer everybody's questions?
I missed the start because I couldn't get the app to work because I'm not tech savvy. Will there be is this like recorded and we can watch back the start later about what we can and can't take on the plane and that sort of stuff?
Yes. Oh, hang on. Yes.
You're going to say, oops, I forgot to hit record.
Don't heart failure. Yes, I am recording it.
Awesome.
Quick, nearly had heart failure there. Okay. Yes, it is recorded, and I did go into a bit of detail about sort of food, plain food, and Ruby asked some questions about what to do with if you do sort of sodium manipulation.
Daddy.
And how that affects your conditioning. So that will all be there, okay?
Yeah, I came in on the end of it, so I'll watch the recording and catch the start.
Now, Wasana's just asked, what about the bikini overseas routine? How long is the posing for? Actually, Wasana, if you go on to, there is an A&B Universe Facebook page, and I actually just tagged you on, there's a video there for the bikini and swimsuit posing, so I've tagged you.
Yeah, I am. I've just got it muted.
Okay.
Loud. His bunny's
Still here.
So, Wasana, did that answer your question? I hope so. Yes. Okay, good. Okay, so, yeah, got it. Perfect. Okay, so Wasana's found out all about the A&B Universe, which is fantastic. So does anybody have any other questions? Is there anything I haven't covered that you feel that you've got questions about, you're not sure of, is kind of playing on your mind a bit?
No, not for me, Sarah.
Kerry? You're all good? Ruby?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Do you take your bikini and your shoes on the plane just in case your baggage gets lost?
Excellent question. Yes. Yes. Now, what I take in my hand luggage is I have a pair of shoes, I have a bikini, and just I have like a kind of very minimum. I have a set of gym gear, just so that I'm functional when I get there. Should something go wrong, you're wearing what you're wearing on the plane. That's fine, as long as you've got your bikini, a pair of shoes, and some gym gear, and your food. Then you're pretty much good to go. That's an excellent question. Yeah, and then in my checked-in luggage, I have my spare shoes, my spare bikini, and all my other gym gear. Oh, actually, while I'm thinking about it, tanning. Now, tanning and sheets and hotels and things like that. The very first time I flew interstate and competed, I actually took a tarpaulin with me to put on the hotel bed so that I didn't get tan all over it. Since the whatever, on the plane I wear dark baggy tracky dacks, and essentially that becomes my sleeping gear. So when I'm all tanned up, I sleep in my daggy trackies so that I don't get the hotel sheets covered in tan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know of anyone who's been charged for tan stains on sheets, but it's certainly something that I didn't want them charging me for. So I make sure that I've got a full length daggy set of clothes that I can sleep in, so that I don't get tan all over the beds. Okay. Mm-hmm. Does anyone have any other questions then? Nope.
Once we finish.
Sorry?
I'm sure I'll think of a million once it's finished.
Well, look, if any of you do have any other questions, please just scoot them through to me. I'm always happy, I'm always happy to answer your questions. And
Thanks.
If it makes your life easier, then just scoot it through to me. I mean, I've kind of figured this all out by myself, and having gone overseas sort of so many times now to compete, I've kind of got it into a routine. The first time was all a bit strange, but last year, even with the flights and things going completely haywire, because I had it into a routine, I knew, because I had a day's worth of food in my checked luggage, because I had enough food on the plane, because I had my shoes, because I had my bikini, because I had my daggy tan clothes with me, because I'd done my research before I went, because I drank plenty of water on the plane, it lessened the impact of the flights going wrong. Okay, so preparation, just like the normal competition preparation for competing overseas is the key. Okay. That's cool. All right. Okay. Now, so if anybody's got any other questions that they think of when we're finished, send them through. If you haven't got any questions for now, let me just unmute Linda. If you're happy with what I've told you, if there's anything else you can think of at all, let me know. Otherwise, I think I've told you everything that I can think of. So does that answer your questions?
Yeah, it's been great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's been good. Thanks, Sarah.
All right, lovely.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Great. Thank you so much for your time.
You're absolutely welcome, and have fun. The key to it, have fun. Okay.
I can't wait. 4 days sleeping with no children.
Oh yeah. Actually,
that sounded wrong the way I phrased that. Actually.
Actually, and it is kind of nice when you're over there because it's just you. It's all about you.
Yeah, it's going to be so good.
So even though you're on comp prep, do take time to try to enjoy the place that you're at.
Yeah.
You won't be able to go sort of sightseeing as much as you might be able to. I mean, there'll be lots of things that you probably want to do, but try and enjoy being in that place as well, and the whole experience of competing overseas.
Cool.
Okay.
Good luck.
Yeah, and good luck to all of you.
Thank you,
Sarah.
All right. Okay. If that's it,
Great.
then I think we'll call it a
All right.
night. So thank you very much for your time, and I'm more than happy to answer any more questions. And I will send out the recording to you after this. Okay.
Awesome.
Great.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much, Sarah.
All
Really
right.
appreciate it. All
Take
right.
care.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.